How is modern technology improving our health? Medication and innovation go connected at the hip if we understand it. What amount of a distinction is there for the normal emergency clinic stay, activity, physical checkup, or in any event, dealing with an ongoing ailment contrasted with those of the past? What key advancements have pushed the limits of the clinical world and permitted experts to mind and treat patients considerably more successfully? Well, in the event that you need to discover, you're in the ideal spot. Wearable technology. A wearable watch that tracks the condition of your well-being. Wearable innovation is turning into a tremendous method of improving our well-being, permitting constant and discreet checking of essential signs. Have a brief extra for 5 irregular realities? 5 favorite fun and random facts. 2016 saw gigantic jumps here, with Royal Philips delivering a clinical evaluation biosensor fix focused on clinic patients. It estimates crucial signs like respiratory rate, and sends the information to application-based programming through Bluetooth to advise a clinician regarding any issues. Great Call delivered Lively Wearable, a wrist or cord gadget that has a catch that associates with an expert group in a crisis. Notwithstanding, not all wearable gadgets are for crises. In the UK, the NHS, National Health Service, tested an advanced training gadget for patients with type 1 and 2 diabetes. This was to deal with their condition following reports in 2015 that more than 20% of diabetes patients had an avoidable hypoglycemic scene in an emergency clinic. Every one of these gadgets are basically a method of observing a condition, halting pointless medical clinic outings and likely hazardous crises. 3D printing. A man holding the absolute first 3D printed organ. Innovation giving perhaps the greatest improvement to our well-being, particularly sooner rather than later, is 3D printing. At the point when Charles W. Hull documented his patent for the 3D printer, he never believed that the gadget would turn out to be so well known in the clinical world. The primary significant use precisely was in 1999 when a fake bladder was relocated into a patient. Interestingly, a biodegradable platform of their bladder dependent on a CT filter and developed tissue layered upon it. The following jump accompanied organ printing using a bio-ink duplicating tissue, the principal model being a non-living kidney imprinted in 2002. In 2016, researchers made the Integrated Organ and Printing System or ITOP, which utilizes a biodegradable plastic to print tissue shapes and a water-based ink to hold cells and miniature channels open to let air and supplements course through. 3D printing is a surprising subject and could undoubtedly have a whole article composed all alone with such countless gigantic jumps in this field. The fundamental issue with 3D natural printing is keeping the cells alive. This is the thing that researchers across the world are attempting to break. However, have confidence, when this has been dominated, organ printing will turn into a tremendous jump forward, particularly for those on the transfer list, and the ITOP is by all accounts the gadget driving the charge. Mechanical surgery. Specialists using a mechanical machine that conducts careful activities. Mechanical medical procedure, a far-away idea, never to be found in the course of our lives, yet this couldn't possibly be more off-base. The Da Vinci C is a piece of hardware utilized in numerous medical procedures in the US, including myomectomy, the evacuation of specific tumors. This framework gives specialists full oversight of the activity and gives considerably less scarring, torment during recuperating and recuperation time, just as radically bringing down the danger of disease. At this point there are no completely robotized surgeries except for there are various investigations being done. It won't be long before you'll go in for a significant medical procedure, get fixed up and be on your route the following day. An amazing accomplishment, all down to headways in innovation. PC diagnosis. The Watson supercomputer occupies a room from floor to roof. PC conclusion is turning into an increasingly more financially savvy and doable alternative, previously being tested by certain emergency clinics across the world, and why not? PCs are boundlessly faster and less clumsy. A supercomputer called Watson, the very one that beat Jeopardy!, made by IBM, is to assist doctors with diagnosing patients and suggest medicines. Specialists will utilize Watson to follow patient history, keep awake to date on clinical exploration and work out treatment choices. In 2016, Watson treated 200 patients in New York medical clinics, for example, the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. In the University of Indiana, a PC like Watson was entrusted with diagnosing and setting out treatment plans for 500 patients. It dealt with this 42% better than its human partners, costing 62% less. Customized treatment plans. 2 little Dragon processor chips. Customized treatment plans appear to be an advanced thought, however, as we've seen with Watson and others, they're getting increasingly more common in current medication. They give patients more proficient, individualized medicines and finding. The fitting is done by means of genome sequencing, first finished in 2004's Human Genome Project, and will truly diminish costs. Not just diminishing expenses, they additionally decrease reconfirmation, misdiagnosis and the measure of off-base drug advertised. Right now, these mappings are generally just done in explicit preliminaries and in a limited scale. Anyway, in 2015, at Kansas Children's Mercy Hospital, they utilized full genome sequencing, which required 26 hours, over 15 hours not exactly previously, because of the recently made Dragon processor. Telephones and tablets. Somebody having a doctor's arrangement through their cell phone. Cell phones, tablets, Wi-Fi and other wireless innovation has in a real sense eliminated the fastened idea of getting to clinical information in medical clinics. Specialists would now be able to see electronic health records by a patient's bedside, or progressing. They can without much of a stretch offer data, see sweeps and results, giving them the most obvious opportunity with regards to giving the most state-of-the-art finding and treatment. Patients are likewise ready to book arrangements and appraisals with their PCP distantly by means of FaceTime, Skype and other programming. They're ready to share pictures and monitor their medicines a lot simpler. With entrance innovation, they can even view similar records with their PCP during a virtual arrangement. These innovations are especially helpful for those living in more provincial territories who need to travel or possibly get below average consideration, and the individuals who are incapable to get an arrangement because of different responsibilities. Dr. Eric Topol said of virtual arrangements and electronic clinical records that it was medication's Gutenberg second. Over the most recent 15 years or somewhere in the vicinity, innovation has truly influenced how we handle our well-being, and it's simply going to improve and be more included. Innovation can and is diminishing our utilization of specialists, reducing expenses, accelerating care and giving patients more force. Regardless of whether it be persistent observing of fundamental signs with wearable innovation, the possibility that in the event that you have a major issue a mechanically fitted substitution can be immediately printed. Or on the other hand, whether it's just about as basic as your PCP having the option to offer you up-to-the-moment guidance on your condition any place you are on the planet. The chief leader of the NHS said all that needed to be said. Throughout the following decade, significant well-being gains will not simply come from a couple of supernatural occurrence fixes, yet additionally from consolidating assorted forward leaps in fields, for example, biosensors, medtech and drug revelation, portable correspondences, and AI figuring. Whatever the result, simply recall that our age's mechanical advances aren't just incredible for killing time and making life simpler, they're likewise definitely influencing our well-being and prosperity.